Hi, I'm Bradie with quiltcetera.com. Today I'm here to show you how to join binding strips together so that you can sew them around the outside of your quilt and finish off that quilt. So the first thing I want to show you is in the upper right hand corner of the screen. I have two fabric strips laid out. I've used the lines on my cutting mat. There's a line along here and another line here. And I use those lines to help me make sure that this is absolutely square. You can do it without making them square, but I just like to do it this way and then I know for sure. So what I'm going to do is I want to sew on the diagonal to create a diagonal seam through the two fabric strips that makes them blend really easy. It's not a big, bulky, obvious seam, and it just makes the sewing a little smoother when you're attaching the binding to the quilt. So as I've said, I've lined them up at right angles, and I'm not even trying to match up the ends. I'm going to let them hang out a little bit. The part that really matters is this right angle in here. You want to make sure that that is nice and 90 degrees. Now, the next thing I want to point out is I'm going to be sewing from here to here. And the way that I determine that is I'm going to hold it and I open it up, and you'll see when I open it up and there's going to be a seam there, it creates a straight strip of fabric. If I were to make my seam go in the other direction, when I open it up, I'm going to have just this little tiny end. So I want the long ends to measure up to the circumference of my quilt. So to make it a little easier on myself, I've got my ruler and my erasable marking pen, and I'm going to put my ruler across the diagonal, corner to corner, just a bit to the left of the two corners so that I can actually have my line be right in the center. If I put my ruler right in the center, then my line will be off, and I want my line to be right on. So I will draw this line, and I can go back and erase this later, but it's not gonna show, so it really doesn't matter. And once you've drawn that line, you'll take a pin and carefully, I like to put it off to the side so that I don't have to move it when I sew. And I actually like to use a couple just to make sure it stays in place. So I'll do a couple in that direction, and I'll do one more in the other direction, and I'll just pull them right out of the way. So I'm going to sew across this line, and then I'm going to continue to do this for all my binding strips. And once you've done that, then you'll open them up, and they will make a nice, long, continuous strip of fabric that you can attach to your quilt. Now just give me a moment and I will sew this up and show you how it turns out. Binding strips go together